Rock on. I will let you in as soon as you jump on. So I'm pushing the live
Alright.
stream to YouTube right now. So we should be live here any second. Unfortunately for today, Kelly Wheeler was not able to jump on the Zoom. He caught a cold watching his granddaughter over the weekend, so he's feeling a little under the weather. He said he might pop in,
Aw.
but the good news is I've got the full training here ready to rock and roll. And so we've got a ton of good material to cover on micro niche farming for specific neighborhoods and your local markets. So we definitely have some good stuff that's ready to rock for you guys and to dive into. I'm just going to give it another 2 minutes for anybody that's a little behind to be able to kind of jump in and join, and then we'll get moving ahead on this.
Hey, Brian, you do know that the what came over was setting up something, so I wasn't sure what I was coming on to, but it's okay. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know William was sending out the text message for the live training, so he may have sent a message that was different than usual, I guess. Here we go. Lisa, did you ever do any advertising with Zillow? You're on mute now. I can't hear you. All right. Well, it looks like we've got about 13 people in the room right now, 12 folks in the room right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and get rocking and rolling on this. We've got a couple of little demos that we're going to do outside of just the slideshow today, where we're going to show you guys a couple of different softwares that you can use to kind of niche down on a market. And then we're going to show you guys also how to import those specific audiences into Facebook, if that's something that you wish to do. And then also kind of cover what we can do with all this good stuff with Mailbox Power for sending out mass mailers out to our potential buyers or sellers. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right on in. I'm just going to get a couple of things set up and ready. Perfect. So I've got my audiences here. All right, I am good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get things rocking and rolling. So today we're going to be focusing all on micro niche farming. So this is going to be farming a specific neighborhood or a specific market so that you guys can captivate business from that market or that audience. This is all about helping you guys win more buyers, win more sellers, and really focus on where you're doing so. And Gary, I love the background. That's an awesome house up back there. I think I could see 3 Ferraris in the garage if you just open the doors. So what you guys are going to learn in this training, how to niche down on specific neighborhoods, how to market them on Facebook and direct mail, marketing materials that are going to be needed so that you can knock this out of the park, how to captivate that particular audience, and what types of videos to shoot in those areas so that you guys can get the highest level of inundation on those folks. So the first thing is we're going to dive into resources to find the data so that you can target these particular markets. There's 3 that I really, really like. We've tested a lot of platforms so that we can pull data for homeowner information and property information. And these 3 seem to have the best data points that are available. One comes at a very low cost in most markets. Most agents have this with their MLS. Some do not, though, but they're doing a really good job getting integration with local MLSs, and that is Remine. Property Radar used to be able to go and download an unlimited number of online leads. So that would be an unlimited number of homeowners and things like that to target on Facebook or Google, Instagram, all of those kinds of things. but they have actually recently changed their pricing model. And I think we probably have something to do with that because we were targeting millions of homeowners with their data. So I'm sorry, you guys. The next one is PropStream. So all of these three resources have very, very good aggregate data for housing and homeowner information so that you can target them on Facebook. You can send direct mailers out to them. You can plug them into a list and target them on YouTube or target them on Google, all of those different things so that you can make sure that you're getting in front of those folks in their market specifically. So I'm going to do a brief walkthrough on Remine and show you guys how this system works. Now, I have a couple of issues with mine right now because the mortgage side of Remine, which is where I have an account, I'm not a licensed real estate agent. I've just been helping real estate agents grow for the last 8 years. But I do have access to the mortgage side. It is currently down though, so I'm not going to be able to download any of these prospects or anything along those lines. But I'm going to show you how it works and what you can do with it. And I do know for certain that on the real estate side, it works perfectly. Everything's rocking and rolling, but they're just having issues with the mortgage side, and we haven't gotten this stuff fixed or updated from them yet. So with Remine, a couple of quick things. With this platform, you can actually search nationwide in any neighborhood that you want to go and target. So first and foremost, if you are an agent that has a team, let's just say, I know we've got a lot of EXP agents that are in this group. You can, as the broker owner or team lead, you can actually go ahead and farm these local markets for your team and run advertisements out to all of those. So number one, it is a nationwide program. Same goes for PropStream and also Property Radar. So those are three reasons, or that's a big reason that those three platforms are near and dear to my heart, and I really enjoy using them because I can actually pull data nationwide for any of our users, or as an agent or a team lead, you would be able to do the exact same thing. Now, one of the things that you can see on here is that I do have a rectangle that is drawn out here. And I've got one little thing that's selected, and that's residential. So you have, if you want to really niche down on a particular neighborhood, let's just say, for example, I'm just doing this at random. I'm going to scroll down. Let's just say that this Golden Heights neighborhood is where I want to put focus on. So what you can do is you can actually go ahead and do this, use this grabber tool and make a rectangle. And let's go ahead and let's cover Holden Heights and Southern Oaks right here. So we've got Southern Oaks and Holden Heights. Let's see how many we have. So we've got about 5,757 residents here. That's homeowner information that we can go and grab. Now, let's just say we want to actually bring this down a little bit further. So we've got residential and we've got this rectangular overlay that's here. They also have this really cool tool called a sell score. So if we wanted to say, take the medium and the high level sell score, so the people that are most likely to sell based off of a ton of nerdy data points, we'll go ahead and apply that and we'll see what that does to our list. So that brings us down to 751 homeowners in this particular market that we would want to target. Now, I recommend making sure that anytime you pull data from this software or similar software, if you're going to be uploading a list into Facebook to market to specifically, make sure your list is over 1,000 people large. It's going to cost a good chunk of change to market to the list. The smaller that it is, the more your costs actually go up to market on Facebook, because they know that you're going after a very narrow niche audience. And so they charge more for that. So if you upload your own list and let's just say it's 2,000 people, you're going to spend more to market that list than you would if it was 10,000 people, because Facebook knows we're going after a specific people, we're going after a specific market. And so they're inherently going to raise the cost per impression, which is every time you show up on a Facebook feed or Instagram, anything along those lines. So when you're going through this, just be cognizant of that. So with 751 selected right now, I would actually remove one of these cell scores, or actually both of these cell scores at this point in time, because that 5,000 people was a great audience to start with. But you can also do things like jump in on home equity. And let's just say we're looking for anyone with between 10 and 50% equity and 50% equity plus on their home. Let's go ahead and see what that does to our list. So now we still have 5,561 individuals that are in here. So that's giving us a pretty good subset list. Now let's also take a look at something like home ownership time, right? So the average move up and move down time frame in the US is going to be 5 to 7 years. So somewhere between that 5 to 7 year mark, that is our average nationwide for a homeowner to either sell their home and downgrade to a less expensive home, or sell their home and upgrade to a more expensive home. So I want to make sure that I'm targeting anybody that has been in their property for longer than 5 years. So we'll go ahead and apply this really fast, and let's see what changes we have. So now we've got 3,622 folks that are in this particular market that we can target. And I think that's great info to go off of. You can also dive in a little bit further and say, okay, we want to focus on single family, condos, and townhomes. We're going to leave the multifamily and the lot lands and all the other stuff out. And this is going to bring us down just a little tiny bit more. We're at 3,531. So we've got an awesome subset here. Now, at this point in time, you guys are going to see an error, and that's because there's an issue with the lender side of Remind. But I want to make sure that I walk you through what steps you're going to have to take to go ahead and pull this list. So what you do is click on, once you've selected all, so we have all 3,531 selected, you're going to hit cart. You'll click the drop down, you'll select the cart of your choice, and then click add. Now I have this unable to perform task to add to lender, please try again later. This is a known issue and error that they have on the mortgage side. They've been working on it for like 4 months and it still isn't fixed. So on the real estate side, you guys will actually just have a green box that will populate right here where this red box is for me, that lets you know that 3,531 contacts were added to your guys' cart. From there, what you'll do is you'll actually go to the cart itself. And once this loads, it takes a little time. Once this loads up, you'll be able to check the box to select all of the users that are within that cart, and you'll be able to download those users via CSV, and you will have a ton of data. So I'm going to let this load for a second, and while this loads, we'll just kind of hang out and give it a little time. Yeah, Gwen, I'm a huge fan of PropStream. The only thing that I don't like is paying 16 cents per record from their system when you want to get phone numbers and emails, but they have an awesome platform. The big thing about Remind that I really like, and I'm going to show you guys what one of these looks like here in just a second, is that you get all of that aggregate data without having to pay any additional info or any additional funds every single month. And a lot of MLSs nationwide actually have a direct integration with them. So for example, Kelly Wheeler gets Remind Pro for free, allowing him to download an unlimited number of homeowners every single month, 10,000 at a time. You have to delete the list and create a new list, but 10,000 at a time, he can download an unlimited number of homeowners. And there's a lot of MLSs nationwide that give their agents that access. So on this screen, what you would do is you'd actually have a list of contacts that are here, and there's going to be a little checkbox that you would click. Then you just click the export button. And then once the export goes through, you'll have an alert here that actually shows that export that went through, and you'll be able to go ahead and pull it and view it. What that data is going to look like once you've pulled that information, we'll go ahead and open this up. Once that is pulled and that data is available, you're going to get a spreadsheet that looks just like this. So you're going to have tons of information right out of the gate. So we've got address, we've got city, we've got state, zip, lot size, square footage, the equity that they have in their home, their cell score, number of beds, baths, estimated value, zoning, whether it's an absentee homeowner or not, the mailing address if they are an absentee homeowner, And the mailing address does cover whether the homeowner is absentee or not. So you'll see 158 Vargas Court, 158 Vargas Court. This one here looks like it is an absentee because the address for the mailing and the property are different. You're also going to get information on all of the homeowners. So homeowner 1, first name, middle name, last name, and full name. Then you'll also get owner 1 email, owner 1 phone. Now, as you can see, there isn't data on every single one of these homeowners, but that's why if you're doing a list of 5,000 to 10,000 that you're downloading from Remine or PropStream or from Property Radar, you're going to be able to match roughly 60% of those on Facebook when you're trying to get in front of them with an ad or targeting that specific audience. So one of the things to keep in mind with this is not every single client, not every single person that info that you download is going to have names, numbers, and emails. Everybody will have a name, but not everybody will have an email and a phone number. But as you can see, we also get owner 2. If there's a third owner, we get that info, and then we get a ton of additional info on their mortgage and the property. So the amount of data that you guys can actually collect is pretty unreal on this audience that you're trying to market to. So now that we've seen what the list looks like, let's actually go ahead and dive in. And I'm going to add this as an audience to Facebook. Oops, I selected the wrong thing. I'm moving a little faster than I should. What I'm going to do is go ahead and add this as an audience into Facebook so that I can show you guys how to directly import that audience to start marketing to them with videos and things that are specific to that neighborhood that's really going to catch their attention and bring them to the table to chat with you. Now you can see we've got a ton of audiences that are built into our account already. Just a handful, but we've got a national database of real estate agents. We've got, EXP agents. We've got Compass Realty. So for you guys, what you'd actually do is you go ahead and click the create audience in the top left corner and click custom audience. Now we're going to upload this as a customer list. We're going to hit next. And on this page, we basically just click next from here. Now, where it's asking if we want to include customer value, this isn't something that you guys need to worry about. This is more for e-commerce. And so if you have like repeats and referral business that's coming back in through an e-commerce store, that's why they have this. So we can select no here and click next. Now, the next thing that we do is we simply just take our file that we want to load, which I've got a list of Arizona audiences here and then Vegas at the bottom. This is the one I'm going to load. And you can just drag and drop that directly into here, or you can click the upload button and find the file on your PC. So once I've gone ahead and added this in, we're going to say next. And what it's going to do is it's going to tell us what fields automatically mapped. Now, we don't want to map the date of birth. That information doesn't actually help us when we're trying to target for real estate anyways. So here's the info that we are going to target. We're going to grab the city. We are going to grab the zip code. We're going to grab the state. We are then going to move down and we are going to grab the owner first name. So we're going to go here and tie this to first name. We will grab the owner last name, tie this to last name. We'll scroll down and we will add in an email address here. And there was also phone number, which phone number was already added. So that's all the info that you need. What I would recommend doing is go ahead and import this list. Once you've imported list 1, go back in and re-import the file, but then do it with owner 2. So owner 2 first name, owner 2 last name, owner 2 phone, owner 2 email. That way, if you have a household, you're not just targeting the primary owner of the home. You can also target the secondary owner. And if they're a spouse, they're both essentially the primary owner, right? I mean, this is, so you can go ahead and upload that audience, upload it the first time with just the primary homeowner information, then upload it the second time with the second homeowner info. Now, the next thing is going to be marketing those individuals on it via direct mail. So if you guys do decide that you want to go and pull a list like this, or you want to get with us and have a discussion about us going and getting that info for you and uploading that list, what we're going to do is when we upload those folks into Leads to ROI, we're going to create a specific tag for them. So that way we can have those leads automatically get imported into a campaign for you in Mailbox Power, so that you can start sending mailers out to that specific neighborhood. So if this is something that you want to do and you want to start taking advantage of the mailer portion of this, please book a time with us, and we would be more than happy to jump on, give you a hand, help you find the tools, resources that you need, or go and just pull the data for you. Now, audience do's and don'ts. So when we're going ahead and we're pulling one of these audiences, you want to make sure that you have more than 1,000 homes, more than 1,000 properties that you're pulling on this list. Now, the number one reason for this is our cost to market on Facebook. If we are grabbing out, if we're grabbing out under 1,000 homes, the Facebook ad more than likely won't even run. It's going to cost so much money. So be sure that you're pulling anywhere from, I would say, 3,000 to 10,000 at a time. That may be harder in some rural areas, but it's going to bring your cost to market down massively. Upload the audiences into Facebook and schedule an appointment with us to make sure Mailbox Power is ready to accept that audience, so that we can push things over to your guys' Mailbox Power and start sending out direct mails and get ready to shoot videos. Things that we don't want to do with this list. So this is an audience. These aren't leads. So I know there's several of our competitors that are out there that say, hey, I import 1,000 leads into your account every single month. What they're doing is they're going to a platform like Remind, PropStream, Property Radar, or they're buying the data third party and they're pulling homeowner information from your local market and they're dumping it into your CRM. That is not a lead. They haven't opted into any marketing materials. They haven't said you can email me. They haven't said you can text me. They haven't said you can call me. So we don't want to solicit this list outside of an ad on Facebook or Google, YouTube, or sending a direct mail to them. Direct mail is fine. Marketing on YouTube, social media, all of those good things, all fine and dandy. But once we start sending emails, we run into the ability of getting in trouble via cam spam. So that means that we can have a $16,000 fine, meaning you would have a $16,000 fine if you start emailing and texting those folks, or calling that list because they have not opted in. So make sure you're not emailing or calling or texting that list. Now, what does it take to be the neighborhood expert? There's a couple of really quick pointers that we've got for you guys so that we can give you the opportunity to really captivate your local audience. So you've already gone in and you've pulled the list of homeowners. We've uploaded it onto social. Maybe we've also uploaded it into Google and YouTube so that we can target them on a couple of additional places. And you started sending out direct mails so that you can get your postcard in their inbox and they can have something that's physical that they can feel in front of them to make you real. Now, what do? Number one, I recommend walking through that neighborhood. Find a neighborhood where you like the homes and you like the way the street looks. And especially if it's an area where you've recently sold a home or you've sold a handful of homes, go ahead and walk through that neighborhood and shoot a video talking about the neighborhood, right? You can talk about things like homes that you've recently sold in that area. You can talk about what the average value increase has been year over year in that marketplace. Make sure that you're focusing on hot buttons that are going to get homeowners interested and wanting to reach out to you. If you let them know, hey, there's certain markets in Seattle where we had 40% year over year growth. They were gentrifying like crazy, but our agents that niched down and targeted those audiences won a ton of listings because the homeowners that were there needed to make a move or may have wanted to make a move, and they had premiums for their home because that value kept increasing. So focus on those hot buttons. You can also be the micro niche reporter. So if you have a new shopping center that's coming in, there's a new store, a new restaurant, or a mom and pop shop, go and get your phone out, go and stand in front of the building, shoot a video of yourself and the building, talking a little bit about that particular new location or that new store, shop, restaurant coming to the location, and how that can impact the local community for the better. Be that local reporter. If there's something new that's coming into that neighborhood, be on top of it. Now, the next thing I would recommend for shooting videos on is nearby schools, school zones, school ratings, and school events, right? So if you've got a football game that's coming up and it's their rival team, make sure that you shoot a little video talking about how we've got the Pirates going up against Mead Panthers and the Brown Jug for wrestling or whatever it is. Make sure that you're on top of that, because the parents that are in that local marketplace is who you are targeting, and you will be able to catch their attention if you're bringing up stuff that their kids might be doing. So if it's not sports, make sure that you're talking about other curricular activities. You also want to talk a little bit about the market health and what's going on. How many listings do we currently have compared to how many buyers that we have that are looking to move into that neighborhood? What have the home values done? How have they risen? What's the average time that a home sits on the market? All of these things can really catch the attention of your little micro niche neighborhood that you're going after and you're targeting. Also speak about neighborhood stats. Again, home sales. If it's a really nice neighborhood, focus on some of the crime statistics and how those statistics are much lower than other neighborhoods that are surrounding or in other areas. And then another cool one, and this is one that I've seen several times, get on the local shopping carts. I remember when I was working at Zillow, I lived in Kirkland. I would go down the hill from my house at a QFC, which is pretty much like a Safeway or an Albertsons, a Bronze, you name it. At a Ralph's, at a QFC right down the street from my house. And every single shopping cart had, and they were actually one of my clients, the Michelle Lyons team was on every shopping cart in that QFC. So every person that shopped in that grocery store saw that agent's name. So that could be a great way to really micro niche down to a specific neighborhood. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to get groceries. The more you can get your name out there, the bigger you can make your presence. So it's another little cool tip. For school district specific, when I think about this, I really think about my past experiences. Even though it was a long time ago, I remember that every single sport that I did, and I played football, I wrestled, and I played soccer. And so I had a sport that I played in the fall, the winter, and in the spring. I was captain of all my teams, but we had sponsored programs where we, as the team, we would have to go and sell spaces in these magazines, these programs that we would give out to the parents. And those folks those kids, especially the seniors, they may be going to college soon. And so those parents may be able to see you. They always get, I know that when, kind of tangent this a little bit, when I turned about 27, my mom came to my house and visited me one year, and she dropped off this big chest just full of all sorts of stuff. It was pictures from when I was a kid. It was all of my sports programs, all of my wrestling records, my medals, all of my trophies, any plaque that I had won, all of that good stuff. But most importantly, there was a program for every single year that I was in sports. And in that program, there's 3 or 4 pages where it had local realtors, mortgage lenders, had local construction businesses, lawn care businesses, all of those kinds of things. It's very inexpensive. I remember it was like $400 for a half a page at my high school, at least, for somebody to get a half a page ad in one of those programs. And if you look at say, just a football team, for example, there may be 80 kids on that football team and 160 different parents, moms and dads, that are going to look through that one sports guide, and they're going to see your face on there if you guys are in that. So if you spread that across, like, okay, so during the fall, we've got football, we've got softball, we have girls soccer, we also have volleyball. You go into the winter, you've got basketball, you've got wrestling, you've got gymnastics. So there's always going to be a handful of different sports programs that are going on at any point in time for each season, that you have the opportunity to get in front of those parents that are looking to either potentially buy or sell a home. And when their kids move out, they may want to downgrade. You never know. It's a great opportunity, a great way to get in front of those folks. I would also recommend seeking out some of the additional programs like band, DECA, drama, anything along those lines. DECA, I think, is a really big one because they compete on a national level. And it's really important to help get in front of those folks. So anywhere, if you can go and speak with your local school board or with that local school and find out what programs you can actually buy into, that's going to help you get in front of the parents that are in that local marketplace. Materials that you guys are going to need to knock this out of the park. Number one, it's going to be your cell phone. Number two, it's going to be a gimbal. And let me actually pull this up on another screen really quick and just find one on Amazon really fast so I can show it to you. And 1 second. I'll just pull up DJI Osmo 5. There we go. All right, so this is the DJI Osmo 5. So this is a gimbal. And so what this does is it stabilizes your video. And it has a little telescoping end on it so that you can stick that thing out far like a selfie stick. So, and so what this will do is this gives you a couple of different things. When you're walking through this neighborhood, it's not going to look like the Blair Witch Project. You're not going to be bouncing all around. It's going to be one steady fluid motion on camera, and it's going to be an awesome video that's recorded. It's going to look professional. You can then also take this thing into the homes that you're marketing to, especially if you're jumping on the bandwagon with our FSBO pitch, where we're going to be offering free photos, free video walkthrough, and a FSBO website to those homeowners. So you have the opportunity to, of course, get in and pitch them to list with you. You're going to want to be able to have this so that you can give them a really solid video and all of those good things, or do just the walkthroughs on your listings yourself. You can go up and down stairs with these. All you have to do is kind of twist your wrist a little bit and it'll move the camera left or right. So you can actually do really good pans. You can do awesome video work with these things. They're only about $160 for the latest and greatest one. So I recommend everybody investing, if you don't already have one, $160 into getting one of these bad boys so that you can go and shoot video, have that fluid motion, and you never have to worry about making the person on the other end of the video sick from seeing your screen jog back and forth and side to side. So these things are awesome. And lastly, don't forget to smile. Make sure that when you're on that video and you're doing that presentation, you bring a little bit of humor, but you also just bring some genuineness to the table. But don't forget to smile when you're on that meeting. So that covers our portion today for micro niching and really micro niche farming, and really diving down into a particular neighborhood or area that you want to focus on selling. What I'd like to do at this point in time is open the floor for any questions or suggestions that y'all may have, so that we can help you out. I'll go ahead and stop my share.
Hi there, I have a question.
Shoot.
So you talked about PropStream and Remind. Do we have to put them into Facebook?
No, you don't have to put them into Facebook. But the way that it works is when you upload that audience to Facebook, it's going to do a matching algorithm. And this is going to sound really nerdy, but so what they do is they search for the first name and the last name together. They search for the phone number because you register your account with a phone number. They search for the email. And then when you import like the city, the state, and the zip, they search based off of location. So what Facebook is going to do is match that audience to a Facebook user. So when you run an ad on Facebook, you're putting your ad directly in front of that specific audience of individuals that you downloaded. So it's an extremely powerful way to target exactly who you want to get in front of. So Danny, oh, go ahead. I'll answer Danny's next.
because I know when you use PropStream, you can get all the data, but you have to skip trace them. So is Facebook skip tracing to get the data, or they already have the data? Is that what it is?
So Facebook essentially has all the data already. They have more data points on us than we will ever know.
Okay.
They know just about everything about what we do, who we hang out with, what's going on in our life. They record us when we're not supposed to be recorded. Facebook knows
Okay.
just about everything there is to know about us. So when you upload that audience into Facebook, they have a very, very high match rate. PropStream, Remine, and Property Radar, we've seen roughly a 60% match rate on all three of those platforms.
Okay.
So they have really good data out of the gate. Yes, you do, if you want to call or anything like that, do need to do some skip tracing to find all of the correct info, but Facebook's going to target them and get that down.
Okay.
Now, to answer Danny's question, Remine is not part of Leads to ROI, but it's a system that we have used for years to help agents market and really target their niche audiences. We have a database of about 15 million homeowners nationwide. And when we're running ads for clients' accounts, we'll actually go and upload that audience first. And then we will create what is called a, it used to be a lookalike audience. Now it's a special ad audience on Facebook. So what Facebook does is it compiles all of the data points of that list that you provide to them. And then they spit out a list of people that look just like that list that you had submitted. So if they're a homeowner, if they've got a mortgage, all of those good things, Facebook takes note of all of that and then creates a list of similar individuals that have similar interests and tastes and things along those lines. Then you can market those folks. We've seen a massive increase in quality when we start with the homeowners first and then create a special ad audience off of that to go and target for buyers and for sellers. So that's the big thing with Remine and those audiences and why we use those. Remine, if you don't get it with your MLS, the pro version, I believe, runs about $200 per month, but check with your MLS first. There's quite a few MLSs nationwide that provide Remine for free because of the partnership that Remine has with the MLSs. Jim, we can actually jump on that a little bit later for opening emails and things along those lines. Where you're actually going to be able to see that is going to be in campaigns or under the workflow itself. There's going to be actual a breakdown on each email that gets sent, each text that gets sent. So you can see what click-through rates are, what open rates are, all of those kinds of things. Do we have any more questions on niching down on your local market and targeting those local homeowners? I thought you guys would be a little more excited about this one today.
Yeah, this is actually really good stuff, and Remine is absolutely fantastic. We do have it through our MLS. We didn't have it for a while, and I went to pro version without the MLS, but man, Remine is so powerful to what you can do with it for target marketing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've found that with Remine, PropStream, Property Radar, they all have essentially the same types of data points that you can target throughout, but it's extremely powerful. Number one, when you're doing like niche marketing like this and you're targeting a specific neighborhood and area, and you can shoot videos in that neighborhood or that market, that's going to get your name out there. Do I have a sample Facebook ad for these targeted mails? Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of different sample Facebook ads. You guys, you could always go to beknownadvertising.com. And this isn't a section of the site that I give out to anybody. This is just for like internal users that we have in the Leads to ROI program. But beknownadvertising.com/FB ad builder. And I'll go ahead and add this into the chat. This gives you guys 60 different options that you can run for ads. So if you wanted to focus on buyers, for example, you can just click on buyer, And then you can do whatever type of buyer ads you want to focus on. So let's just say down payment assistance. You guys can then go and just click these buttons. You've got 3 different ad copies for down payment assistance. If we change over to headline description, you can go ahead and go through 3 different descriptions or headlines, excuse me, and then 2 different description options that you can choose. I always recommend doing carousel ads or video ads for these, especially when you're doing a niche market. For a carousel ad, you probably want to show listings that you own in that marketplace and homes that are for sale. For the video ad, make sure that you're niching down on something specific to that neighborhood. Again, if there's a local shop that's coming in, or a restaurant or store, if you've got a home that's recently sold in the market, if you're talking about the market health and what's going on in that particular neighborhood, I'll do those. But you guys will have the ability through that link. You can jump in here and you can take a look at all the different ad types, and you guys can get some really good ideas on what you would want to run for an ad in that local marketplace if you're doing it on your own. Now you can always, of course, reach out to us as well, and we can take care of some ads for you and get some stuff rocking and rolling and running. But you've got different points for buyers, for sellers, and also for retargeting. So this will just give you guys a ton of different ideas for what types of ads you may want to run or put in front of that specific market. Of course, we'd probably be focused primarily on the seller side, but definitely this can give you some great ideas on what to run and what type of ads to do. So Jim, you've got Remind through your MLS. Does anyone else that's on here, have you guys checked to see if you have Remind available or something similar through your MLSs?
I have Remind.
You do as well? Awesome. Anyone else?
I have it on my MLS, Brian.
Have it through your MLS as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Now
I do have
couple,
my to MLS too.
There we go. So we've got a handful of folks that are on here that are aware of it, that do have access to it. It looks like we're getting quite a few responses on here too. Gary, sorry, it's not on your MLS. Deborah's got it though. Just checked a note for Jay Shree. So the less expensive option for you guys that don't have it is going to be number one. The next less expensive is going to be PropStream, and then below that is going to be Property Radar. If you do sign up for Property Radar, I think they're $80 a month still. Make sure that you sign up for the nationwide if you're not on the West Coast. So Property Radar started with Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. And so if you're not in any of those states, you need to make sure that you purchase the nationwide program with Property Radar. It's still the same cost. It's still only $80, but they've separated it out from the West Coast and the whole US for some reason. It's just the way they rolled it out. So PropStream, I believe, is $100 a month. Property Radar is $80 a month. But really awesome sources for you guys to pull and capture that data. Now, if we wanted, we could do an entire course just on this once every couple of weeks, because we can actually niche down and go, hey, let's put in a focus on absentee homeowners. Let's go after folks that may be behind on a payment. We've got some list pendants, all of those kinds of things. And so we're going to be talking about how to utilize Remind, Property Radar, PropStream. They all basically have the same data points that we can check on throughout the upcoming months. Next week, we're going to be doing a training where we talk about list pendances, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, all of those good things, so that we can help you guys niche down into that specific audience, win more listings, but then also win super, super cheap buyers as we have this foreclosure market hit. Now, you guys, just on that foreclosure note, to do a little side tangent, 80% of the shoppers that are out there looking at homes, looking at foreclosed homes, are also looking at real estate properties that are active and available on the MLS. What it boils down to in working and handling that lead 9 times out of 10 is just as simple as educating that lead on what the foreclosure process looks like. Letting them know that most mortgage lenders aren't going to be able to provide them with a mortgage where they can go to the auction and purchase that particular property cash right up front. They just aren't aware of it. So the number one thing for buyers on that foreclosure side is just educating them what that process looks like. And it's a little bit different in every market. So you want to make sure you familiarize yourself with it. But once you educate them on what that process looks like, you're going to have a lot of people that say, oh, well, let's just get pre-approved and let's go and find a house that's active and available on the market because I don't want to jump through all of those hoops. And then on the list side, of course, we want to save these folks credit, make sure that they, don't have that foreclosure hit their report, all of those good things. So maybe we focus on a short sale or something like that. But we will be diving a little bit further into Remind down the road. Do we have any other questions on micro niche farming in specific neighborhoods? All right, you guys. Well, it looks like we're wrapping up a little bit early today. So I feel that was a pretty decent session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message us, email us, get in touch, and be more than happy to give you a hand. So thank you guys all for jumping on and joining us for our live session today. And we will have another session on Thursday. Of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, we go live at 1 o'clock PST. And yes, Yomandi, it is same time every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 o'clock PST. And so on Thursdays, we always talk about the nerdy tech stuff, how to use leads to ROI. And on Tuesdays, we focus on ways to help you expand and grow your business, whether that's through new programs, unique selling propositions, or how to market yourself to a specific niche or audience. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. And I'll be looking forward to seeing all of you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.